Hello, everybody. We are looking at a study today where there's, as normal, white to move and win. This is not an easy one. I would say it's pretty hard to find all the variations, but it's, as always, very beautiful and clever solutions to this. So we are a bit worried about this black pawn, 2 steps away from promotion. And as you see, we cannot catch it with our king. It's just not possible. We have to do something else about it. The question is, of course, what? We have our own pawn here, 2 steps away from promotion also, but the sad thing, it's blocking our rook, so we cannot take here. So we can do something about it, probably. Okay, so now it's time for you to pause the video, analyze this, and see if you can find the full variation where white has to play to win this. Go ahead. Okay, welcome back. So, as you see, we couldn't stop it with our king. We cannot stop the pawn with our bishop either. It's just not good enough. It's going to promote, and if it promotes, there's no way we're going to win. We're going to lose this pretty hard. Clever bishop sacrifice like this doesn't do the trick either. Black will simply take it with the rook, and now again he is just winning this pretty easy after this. So there's no sacrifice like that. Starting with a check here with the rook, brings the king up to f7. Perhaps we want to move our rook around to come here. Well, this is a draw in many different ways. Easiest to illustrate is just that black can attack our pawn here. We cannot really protect it. If we go back, well, then we are losing after h2. If we try to protect it with our bishop here on c1, then we're blocking the path for our rook here. So h2 will again win for black. We cannot stop the promotion here. So there's no point in checking, and of course moving this doesn't help. h2 will come. We cannot come down to g1 because we will be taken with a check, with a promotion to a queen and a check, and of course it's losing big time. So now we have to focus on this pawn. And I think you perhaps saw the first move. It's not to take it with the rook. This might look tempting, but black will take back. And now we are pinning the rook, and we think perhaps we can just play h7. This is not good, because black will ignore his rook, instead go for our pawn, and he will stop it. And when we take the rook, black will not even take the pawn right away. Instead, he will push h2, because this one can be taken whenever he wants to. And he will promote to a queen, and we will lose this very, very hard. So we cannot take the pawn with the rook, but instead we take it with the bishop. And now it's getting interesting. Black has 3 options here. All of them we need to explore. Move the king here, or, well, not take it with the king, of course, but take it with the rook. So let's start with that. If black takes back with the rook, then it's pretty easy win for us. We take back again. If he grabs, well, then we will promote before black does, and we will stop the pawn. And if he pushes the pawn instead of taking back, we will simply just play our rook to e1, and we're good to go. Easy win for us. So it becomes more interesting when it doesn't take, but instead moves the king to either e8 or g8. Let's start with this. King g8. Here, if you want to pause the video again and analyze this position, go ahead. Okay, here we go. We have to start. This is pretty normal move. We start with a check here, forcing the king into h8, because now we have everything under control. We got our rook covered here with our pawn. It's protected, but still it's not that easy to find out how we're going to win this, because if we try to play something like this is not winning. Black will exchange rooks, and if we take it with a check, black plays the king to h7 or g8 or h7, doesn't matter. and we will have to stop this pawn because we still cannot reach it with our king. Black will simply just sacrifice the pawn, we grab here, and of course only a bishop is not enough material to get checkmated, and this is a draw. So in this position we have to find the only winning move for white, which is just to move the rook to f7. Now we are threatening bishop f6 check, and this is a very, very good threat. So does something like this. Well, check, king comes to g8, and now we have a clever way of winning this. We are being attacked with our rook, but we will ignore that. Instead, we are focusing on our own pawn. Check and promote, and now we can stop this pawn. We will end up queen versus, I would say, something like this. Queen versus rook and pawn, but this is a fairly easy win for white in the end. Okay, and if he doesn't push the pawn but attacks our rook right away, well, we're gonna do the same. We're gonna sacrifice our rook anyway, end up in the same way, like this. It's gonna be the same variation, or if black chooses to go back, that was the one I was going for, well, then we have a checkmate, like this. Okay, so let's see, I think we covered most of the things here. Of course, if he moves away the rook, something like this, we will check, and now we can take here because we have time to stop this pawn. So that's winning for us. Okay, now let's look at the last variation. King comes to e8 instead. How do we continue from here? Again, if you want to pause the video in this position, go ahead. Okay, there's only one winning move here also. We have to start with a check, because the only way we can stop this is to get our rook out, and we'll do that with a check. The king has two options, either take the bishop or go to f7. Let's look at this first. King f7. Again, we only have one way to win this. It's not playing h7. That will allow the king to come to g7 or perhaps even g6 to stop all these potential bishop sacrifices. Now, this pawn will fall. If the bishop moves, he will take the pawn with the rook, and without promoting our pawn here, we don't have a chance to win. So instead, we need to give a check on f8. The king will attack on g6, of course, attack our pawn. As said, we have to protect it. And the order to do that is to first give a check, force the king up. If he goes down somewhere, of course, then we will get this promoted and win. King comes to h7. And from here, can you see it? Yes, we go back to f7 with a check, and now it will transform into the same variations as before. If it goes to g6, we will just push h7, get this promoted. If it takes the pawn, well, then we have a discovered check. Not discovered check, but a discovered threat to the rook, something like this. And we will take, and we can stop this. We can stop it in different ways. Check here perhaps, and then put the rook on h6. Is an example of that. And if he moves down to g8, again we will ignore our own rook. We will push the pawn and get it promoted, or get black checkmated like this. Okay, so now the final variation. Let's jump up a little bit here. He went to e8 first, we give a check, and now look what's happened if he grabs our bishop on e7 instead. Last chance to post a video and find the victory from here. If you're gonna give it a try, go ahead. Okay, here we go. So it's important to understand now that white doesn't have time to move the rook up to perhaps a8 and going down to stop the pawn like this. Black will push his pawn. We are forced down, and then black has a nice little move with rook d6 attacking our pawn. Now we're actually forced to stop his pawn. We will lose our own, and of course we are not winning this. We will probably hold the draw here because we can come down and exchange here, but we want to win. So back again from here, we play h7, of course. Now if black plays h2, we simply sacrifice the rook here with tempo. There's a check. We get the queen with the check, and we're grabbing this pawn, and we're winning from here. And if black doesn't waste time, instead he wants to perhaps attack our pawn, something like this, well, then we can just move the rook and we will promote. We cannot stop it, so there's no point in doing that. If he goes up here instead, flattering this, well, rook f8 will do the trick and we will promote. And at last, if let's see, after h7, if black tries to escape with his king to get away from all potential checks with the rook, like this is an interesting last variation. And now white has to play an exact move to win this, which is rook a8. We're now threatening to promote here, and it has to go all the way to a8, because now black is forced to take this pawn. And look at this opposition with the kings. Now we get a check. It's forced down. That's why we have to go to the a8, not b8. Otherwise, it's going to come here. Doesn't matter now. He has to go to the 7th rank, and we give a check. And we grab the rook. And after that, both pawns will fall, and we will win in the end. So I hope I covered all the variations here. This is a very complex study, and it's a very long video. Thank you for bearing with me all the way, and I hope you enjoyed it. So tomorrow I'll give you something a little bit lighter. See you then. Bye bye.